two dueling visions of America that will come into focus later today. Military artillery will roll through the streets of Washington, D.C., you see it on your screens now, to celebrate the U.S. Army's 250th birthday, which also just happens to be President Trump's 79th birthday. And across the country, more than 2,000 No Kings protests will take place in cities from coast to coast. The flagship rally starts later this morning in Philadelphia. It comes on the heels of a week where citizens across the country have already mobilized in opposition to President Trump's immigration raids. The coalition of No Kings organizers have a simple message. Quote, "The flag doesn't belong to President Trump, it belongs to us. On June 14th, we're showing up everywhere he isn't to say no thrones, no crowns, no kings." Joining us now, Leah Greenberg, co-founder of the group Indivisible that's helping organize No Kings protests, and Beverly Harvey, founder and group leader of Indivisible Kansas City and an organizer of the No Kings rally in Kansas City, Missouri. Beverly, I want to start with you because, you're in a red state. I'm curious,
yes.
How hard or easy was it to get people to say they're going to stand up in this No Kings protest today?
I'll tell you what, we started this back in February. We had a big presentation right across the street at the community church. We had so many people show up, they had to lock the doors. So even though we're in a red state, there's a lot of people, whether they're red, blue, whatever, that are showing up.
Leah, Lee Jordan here. President Trump has called the protesters who are turning out to the No Kings and to other rallies around the country's paid protesters, troublemakers, part of a foreign invasion. Who are the men and women that you are seeing at these protests?
I'll tell you what, they're every day. Oh,
those claims are those claims are just transparently ridiculous. The folks that we work with, they are regular people all over this country who understand that politics and democracy, it's too important to leave up to the politicians. They are nurses, they are teachers, they are IT technicians, and they know they had to do something because they are watching our democracy under threat. They are watching our neighbors under attack, and they're standing up and they're saying we're not going to stand for it.
Hey, Beverly, I was just in your city the other day on my book tour in Kansas City, great city.
Awesome.
And as has been established, you are the founder of Indivisible Kansas City and doing the protest today. Listen to what President Trump had to say about what could happen to folks who show up here in Washington to protest the parade. And I'll talk to you about it on the other side.
We're going to be celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protester who wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest, but, this is people that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force.
Now, of course, the president is talking about the military parade here in Washington today. But you are a protester, and you're going to be among the thousands of people protesting around the country. What does it mean to you or say to you that the president of the United States is saying that if you protest, you will be met with, quote, heavy force?
That is so disgusting to hear a president of the United States send out the military against its own people. This has never happened in the United States. It should never have happened in the United States. We've got 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-olds that are coming out to protest. You're going to send the military, what, on grandma and grandpa? Really? I mean, it just doesn't, it makes no sense whatsoever. And I'll tell you, I'm a veteran, and there's going to be a ton of veterans here, and we are disgusted that the chief for the military is sending the military on us.
Beverly, you said you're a veteran. Tell us, which branch of the military and where did you serve?
I was in the U.S. Army back during the Vietnam era. I was a behavioral science specialist that counseled Vietnam vets when they came back. So I have served my country proudly, and it is disgusting that Trump wants to put the military on the city streets against, protesters. We have a right. We have a constitutional right to protest.
Well, and I've heard that protesters are concerned about surveillance, frankly, as the Trump administration overall is ramping up for more surveillance on Americans, whether they're protesters or not. Leah, is that something that protesters are concerned about, that they are being tracked if they participate in these protests?
We've heard some of those concerns, and what I would say overall is that we're all really clear that we're in a climate of escalating retaliation and repression. This is part of a broader agenda to crack down on any source of power who might stand in American society, who might stand against Donald Trump. They believe that they can bully us all into submission. Today is about showing them that they cannot do that, that we collectively are far more powerful than them, that real power is not staged in military theatrics in D.C. It rises up everywhere else in the country.
Beverly, one of the things that President Trump and other right-wing folks like to say when these protests crop up is that the folks doing them, quote, hate the country, right? That they just couldn't, it doesn't make any sense that these folks would do this for anything but hating the country. You are a veteran. You have talked about it quite a bit. You're talking to all of these folks. Dispel the president and anyone else who thinks that you guys hate this country. Dispel them of that notion.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, I served my country. We have a ton of veterans that are actually in our group and are in other groups. There's probably 5 or 6 other protests that are going to go on today. We love our country, and that's why we're protesting, because we want to save it from someone who wants to be a king. We're not going to have a king in this country or a monarch or a dictator. It's not going to happen, and we're going to stay out here and protest and protest and protest until he's gone. Just recently, we had neo-Nazis here in Kansas City marching, and the governor didn't do anything about that, but yet he wants to send military troops on just regular American citizens. But he didn't do anything with the neo-Nazis that are here. So tell me, who really is for democracy?
And to Beverly's point, she's talking about, and this is from the Kansas City Star, the headline, Missouri governor activates National Guard ahead of anti-Trump protests. It says Governor Kehoe activated the Missouri National Guard. The Republican governor singled out Kansas City, St. Louis, and Springfield and other affected communities in Missouri where events were occurring or could occur that create hazards for people and property beyond resources of local officials. Leah, I want to bring up NBC News Decision Desk poll that shows that 64% of those polled say they oppose using government funds for the military parade. We see it there on the screen. So 64% of the American people don't want this to happen, and yet it's happening. Talk about how Indivisible is going to sort of counter the president's notion that what he's doing is something that apparently he believes is the height of patriotism.
Well, you're absolutely right. People don't want this military parade. They don't want money that's being taken from veteran services to be used to throw Donald Trump a birthday party. They do not want the National Guard in California. They're looking at all of this and they're saying this is massive, shocking overreach by a guy who seems to think he's a king. The best way that we show that this is not supported, that Donald Trump's base is actually a lot more brittle than he thinks it is the mass widespread peaceful protest. And so that is really what today is all about. It's making sure that when people turn on their TV tomorrow and they hear the story of what's happening, what they see is Donald Trump throwing himself an empty, hollow birthday party, and everyone else in the country, big tent of folks who are coming together collectively to say, we don't do kings in America. This has to stop.
Beverly, how have you seen the energy come back into the protest movement as, you know, the immigration crackdowns have started around the country? Has it charged the movement and brought people back in the fold after, you know, there was so much energy at the beginning of Trump's first term and then it waned off? And where do you see the movement right now?
Oh, it's increased tenfold. Like I said, when I started out, there was maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 different groups here in Kansas City. Now there's 6, 7, or 8 different groups. So it's continuing to grow. You know, what they're doing, what ICE is doing is awful. I mean, they're taking American citizens and arresting them, taking them away from their families, and nobody even knows where they are. I mean, this is unbelievable that this is happening in the United States. What is going on? Is there no Republicans that think this is just awful? I just don't understand that.
Leah Greenberg and Beverly Harvey, thank you so much for being with us today.